Hey, Chris. Hey, Brittany. Hey, everyone who is in here so far. I'm going to get started in just a second. I'm just going to wait for like a few more people to get in here. But yeah, I got some shit I want to talk to you guys about today. It's cold as hell everywhere, I guess. What's poppin'? How's everybody's day? How's everybody's week so far? I hope everybody's having a good week, good day. Not being trash. We're not gonna be trash. But I guess I'll get started now, so we don't be here all night. But what I wanted to talk to you guys first about is, of course, the cruise. We still got the cruise going in October. So if anybody wants to participate, the cabins are like $350. Just hit me up, and we're going through a travel agent, so I will direct you to the people you need to talk to. And yeah, got the cruise. I'm going out of town tomorrow. I'm excited. I'm excited more so to be off work, but yeah, I'm excited. So, expectations and false realities. Hey, Chrissy. So that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. I know that a lot of times we're being told when it comes to our significant others, like not to settle, not to, we're supposed to have what we want in another person, or we're supposed to have what we want in another mate. But how true is that? Do you guys feel? Do you feel like our expectations are too high for people a lot of the times? Do you feel like maybe you do have to settle in some areas of your relationship? What do you guys feel? Because I want to know, because I see both sides of the situation. So I want to know what you guys think as far as settling or choosing a boyfriend or a girlfriend or whatever. If they're not the complete package, what do you do? Don't all speak at once, guys. But what do you do? What do you do if you meet somebody and you really like them, but you don't like everything about them? Do you just throw them away? Or do you just kind of adapt and deal with what you got? And I guess it could be depending on what it is. Of course, if they don't have a lot of money, you can work on that. That's not a deal breaker. But these expectations that we have, like, are they too high? Do you feel sometimes? Or do you feel like you just don't have to settle at all, and that you should be able to find 100% everything that you want in somebody else? I know it's Wednesday, but come on, people. Y'all don't want to talk to me today? Nobody wants to talk? Because I can't talk to myself. Although I can, I don't want to talk to myself. I want to talk to you guys. So just let me know how y'all feel. Expectations and false realities. No, you guys don't like my door blanket? Is that what it is? But yeah, what do you guys think? Should we settle? Should I settle for you? Just because you may have, 5 out of the 10 things that I need? What's a deal breaker? What would be the deal breaker? Hey, Sam. Hey, Rudy. Do we settle for people that don't have 100% of the package, or do we throw them away? What should we do? Because the scariest part is when somebody tells you, you're not going to find a nigga like me because I do this and this and this, XYZ, or you're not going to find nobody because, I may be lacking in one area, but other niggas lack in more areas. Like, what would you say to a response like that? It's okay. Everybody's just kind of like, today. So you get a pass. When I realize you have no goals for life, that's a deal breaker for me. But what if the person has like everything else that you want? But besides, like, I guess the drive or the motivation to want to do better. Like, do you just say, fuck it, you don't have everything that I need, so bye? Or do you say, you know what, I'm going to work on you? And do you stay? Do you stay or do you leave? Because that's what I want to know. Like, I already know what I need, but if you're only giving me like 80% of what I need, am I supposed to stay? Because a lot of people say don't settle for less than what you deserve, blah blah blah. But what is what you deserve? Who can answer that? Who can answer that? Maybe what I'm getting in my mate is what I deserve. We're talking about expectations and false realities, and in relationships, and if we're supposed to settle or not, because people tell you all the time, don't settle for what you don't want. Go out there and get what you want. But at what point do you stop looking? Or do you say, okay, this is enough? Or do you ever say that? Or do you just continue looking forever to find your complete package? I feel like expectations can never be too high if you're living up to the standards yourself that you expect or higher. But if you ain't got nothing going on for yourself, not sure how you can expect something. Absolutely, I absolutely agree with that. But what if they don't have everything? Like, what if you require, like, and I feel like we've spoken about this before, but this keeps on coming up. That's why I keep talking about it, because people keep asking the same questions over and over again, feeling like they don't want to settle, but they don't want to leave this person either, but they're not happy in their situation. So, if a person is trying, I believe it should be a compromise. I feel that when you find someone compatible, that's when you say, okay, I can work with this. Cool. That's what I wanted to know. And not that, everybody is in this situation, but a lot of times people don't really assess their situation properly, and they think that they're worse off than what they really are, or maybe they're better off than where they really are. And so, a lot of times you can't really see it until you step outside of the situation to assess like what the hell is really happening or what's really going on. But, I feel like when you're not entirely happy, but, everything around you seems to be cohesive and working, do you still stay? Do you still stay when you're not happy, but everything around you is functioning? I have to see your effort to know you're trying, not just being told I'm trying. Absolutely. I think that's, nowadays that's the time that we live in. If we don't see it, then it ain't happen. So, like, if we can say all day, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but if I don't see you doing shit, then you're probably not doing shit. But what if you're not entirely happy, but your kids are happy and your mate is happy? Do you stay? That's the question. And if you guys like this video, please share it. If you're not happy, you'll be miserable going forward. But if my kids ain't happy, then I'm not going to be happy either. And what if my kids are happy in the situation? Then what? Because a lot of people, believe it or not, are in that situation. you know, where their kids are happy, like they don't want for anything, you know, but they're not happy. Happiness comes and goes. That's kind of interesting that you said that. I don't think I've ever thought about that in that type of concept, but I guess it does. I guess there's such thing as temporary happiness. You know, I believe that that's a thing. Thanks, Mook. That I didn't really think about that, but yeah, it seems that happiness would come and go. The will of the bonder starts with patience and friendship, stemming from cultural knowledge of self, spirituality, consciousness, and being applied in order to seal the bond. Yeah, but even with all of that, we know that that's the foundation of any type of relationship, period, whether it be platonic, not platonic, you know, whether it be whatever. You have to be a friend first. But sometimes you start to grow apart for different reasons or another. But do you stay and do you settle for that, or do you leave and try to find something better? And honestly, I want to know, what's the likelihood of you finding something better? To me, it feels like a 50% chance. And if I'm already in like a fucked up situation and I know like I'm comfortable with the situation, keyword comfortable, and I know that it's a bug flying. I know that, you know, I know what the worst thing that could possibly happen. Thank you. It's somebody's blanket. But I know what's going to happen. You know, do I stay and deal with it because I know it's not going to get worse than this? Or do I leave and regret what I had before? But everybody knows there's no take backsies. So you can't go backwards in life. So even if, you know, like, when do you take that chance? When do you take that chance to say, you know what, I'm going to find something better? And how likely are you to find something better? Can anybody answer that? Do we have any fortune tellers in the house? And I'm just merely speaking on like things that I think about sometimes, things that I see floating on this internet, because I see a lot of crazy stuff. There's a lot of people that are in like emotional turmoil, like more than me. And I'm a pretty emotional person, but there's a lot of people that's hurting. Love outweighs most feelings. Yeah, it can. But how do you know when you're in love? Is when you're in love, do you still get butterflies? Is that when you're in love? Or is that when you're in lust? Are you in love when you just really care about the well-being of this person and you don't care whether they stay or leave? You just want them to be straight? Is that love? Can somebody define love? We're going to have our miseducation of Lauryn Hill moment today. You know what, Larry? Emotions are dangerous if you don't know what to do with them. Because if you just out here trying to pour emotions on everybody, that shit is not cool. I feel like knowing yourself and knowing how you react in certain situations gives you the upper hand in dealing with your emotions. But what makes it dangerous is when people don't know themselves enough to know like what these feelings are and how to control them. Sometimes I feel like emotions are very, very tricky, but that comes down to the knowledge of self piece that we were talking about earlier. That Lennox was talking about. Like, you have to know yourself. And in order to know yourself, that means knowing how you are as a person and knowing how you react to certain situations and knowing your emotions. And I feel like the only way that emotions become, like I said, dangerous or whatever is if you don't know how to control them. Like, a lot of people just have their emotions everywhere and they project on people, and then everybody's like, what the fuck is wrong with her? You know, because like she's mad emotional for no reason. But I feel like a person that knows themselves knows how to deal with their emotions. And then that whole common sense thing, that threshold won't be crossed, because they're going to know, okay, if I say this, then I'm going to say this, and then the whole town is going to burn down. So how about I just not, and then I'm just going to keep it pushing. That's what people do who know themselves. Absolutely. You always want to leave in good standards, you know. I just think that when you know yourself, and when you're dealing with a person that doesn't know themselves, it makes it very hard. And I feel like a lot of people aren't doing this pre-screening that they should be doing, as far as like meeting new people and trying to see where they're at, because essentially you're going to be, if you're going to be spending a lot of time with this person, whether it be a friendship or a relationship, you guys are going to tend to take energy from one another. And you got to know what you're taking. You got to know what you're getting. And if you're dealing with a person that doesn't know themselves, 9 times out of 10, you're getting bullshit, you know, for lack of a better word. You know, that's what you're getting, because they don't know what they're doing. They're out here doing like this, and then you're all calm, and their emotions are fucking everywhere. So I think that, you know, people got to know themselves, and it's not enough people that know themselves, honestly, in my opinion. You know, because I know how I am. I know what I'm going to do. I know what aggravates me. I know what doesn't aggravate me. I know what I can deal with, what I can't deal with. I know what I won't deal with, you know. And as far as those things, a lot of people were like, try it and see what happens, you know. And that shit to me is dangerous. That is dangerous. A person that's not sure, uncertainty. And I think I posted something about this yesterday, like, people who aren't sure are dangerous, because they'll do anything, they'll try anything, and then they'll figure out later on, okay, maybe this wasn't for me. But you can't do that when you're trying to share a life with somebody else. You gotta already know, because when you're trying to share a life with somebody else, that's your time to bond with that other person, and to know, you know, to get to learn that other person, because that other person knows themselves. So you're learning them, they're learning you, y'all are learning each other together. You're not learning about you and learning about them. That shit doesn't work. It doesn't work. We try to make it work all the time, but it fucking doesn't work. So to me, I think where I'm at in my life, if you don't know who you are, then 9 times out of 10 we're going to clash, because you're going to be uncertain or indecisive all the fucking time, and I can't stand it. I know me. I can't stand that. I'm going to need you to know what you want to do. Simple as that. It is, though. You know, I wasn't born knowing myself. I had to go through periods of growth just like the next person. But what I'm saying is, at this time in my life, I cannot deal with a person that doesn't know themselves. I just can't do it. I refuse to do that. And is that like a false reality? You know, am I going to have to deal with people that are unsure? Sometimes, sure, you know, but it's a choice whether I want to deal with them personally or not. You know, that's a choice. And a lot of people really kind of leave out their options. You know, a lot of people don't understand that you don't have to do that. You don't have to deal with this person. You don't have to settle. But that comes from knowing yourself. You know, how many people in here don't know themselves? Just curious. Don't all speak at once. I mean, you're not really speaking, you're like typing. But I just want to know, like, how many people are still going through their growing pains and their growing stages, where they're finding out what they like about themselves and what they don't like. I know you said you know yourself. You're trying to get me to pronounce your name, and I cannot pronounce your name without looking at the message with your name in it. My two exes. So Buddha, your two exes don't know themselves. Damn, there's two of them. And why do you say they don't know themselves? Did you dump them or did they dump you? That was just my own personal. I just want to know that personally. I think it makes for a great story because you said you had two exes that didn't know themselves. I just, I think it's important. People gotta know who they are. People gotta know. Because the older you get, the less patience that you have. Do I know myself? Absolutely. Did I always know myself? No. I think I just came to know myself within these last few years, actually. It was a lot of trial and error with me, and I was really living very, very reckless. There's a lot of shit that I had to filter out. And in some circumstances, I was in too deep, and I was just too far to turn back. So I just was like, you know what, I'm not doing this again. But that comes with learning and growing. But no, I did not always know myself, but I know myself now, and I know what I'm willing to deal with and what I'm not willing to deal with, because I know what I'm able to bring to the table and what I'm able to contribute. Care to tell me who you are? Ooh, if you don't sound like them damn Hebrew Israelites that came and crashed this shit a few weeks back. I am me. Long story short, I'm black. I know that there are certain limitations that I have. I know that I was born here in the United States. I also know that I don't put chemicals in my hair. I don't like nasty food. Avocados are great. That's pretty much the extent. Like I'm just as real as they come. Like I don't sugarcoat shit. Like, cause for what? There's no need. I just am me. I mean, that's what it is, though. But like I said, I just came into myself like these last couple years because, like, if y'all could witness the glow up in my pictures, like you can see like from where I started to where like I kind of leveled out and became consistent, because I went through phases, and you can see I was happy sometimes, I was unhappy sometimes, I was bald head sometimes, and sometimes I had hair, and it's just like there's a lot of things that were happening. So I think that if you care to take a tour through my pictures before I delete them all, you can kind of see like where the glow up started happening, where I started, really getting into myself and really knowing and understanding myself as a person, as a human being, as a black woman. But yeah, even though I don't be on that feminist shit, like I just, I know I'm a woman and I realize I'm a woman. So did you guys hear about the girl that was trying to take pictures on the train tracks and she got killed? That shit was crazy. Did you guys hear about that? I saw that on the Shade Room. I mean, everybody, I guess, in some shape, form, or fashion, if you're elevating, then you should be changing, because you can't, to not elevate is to be stagnant, and you can't grow and be stagnant at the same time. That goes against hey Malika, that goes against the rules of life, I guess, nature. So I mean, with growth comes change. And sometimes when you grow up, people don't like it because people want to stay at that same level. They don't want to see you grow. They want to see you be where you are, smoking and drinking and hanging out all the time and doing shit like that, doing stupid ass shit, you know, because that's what they like to do. And I think that as you grow, and if that's the thing that you're trying to grow out of, you know, if they're your true friends, they'll understand. And if not, then yeah, chuck them deuces and keep that shit moving, because you don't have time. You know, in your growth process, you'll see that the universe will force people out of your life, and they will force situations to end when they're supposed to, and they will force new situations to begin when they're supposed to. So you don't have to worry about nothing as long as you're doing right by yourself and by the people around you. And that brings me to something that I wanted to discuss with you guys. Like, define a good person. You know, who could we label as a good person? Or what characteristics does a good person have to have? Because I think that there's some misconceptions about what a quote-unquote good person is. They get mad because they're stuck in lower levels in life and they want to grow. Yeah, I actually, you know what? For me, I actually had one of my very, very close friends. Like, we grew apart because I simply just stopped doing the things that I used to do because it was just a waste. It wasn't conducive. It was just a waste of time, a waste of money, a waste of energy. And so that was one of the many things that we kind of dealt with. And although we still speak periodically, the relationship is not the same because we grew apart, you know. And I think, you know, in some ways I grew in a different direction and she grew in another direction in different categories or whatever. But, you know, we respect each other, but we're not as close as we used to be. Like, we used to be like this. And we're just not anymore because of life, you know, and it happens. Thank you for putting money in the collection plate for me. But I just feel like, you know, with life, it's tricky, you know, because there's not one way to deal with a situation. There's like plenty of different ways to deal with one situation. And you just have to choose the best scenario, you know, or the best outcome that fits your scenario, because, you know, it can go haywire if not. And that comes with knowing yourself. In order to choose the best option, you have to know yourself, and you have to know what you're dealing with and what type of situation you're dealing with. So that's really all I had. If you guys want to talk about some stuff, if you guys want to ask me some questions, I am going to give you guys my email address, just in case you want to email me some topics that maybe you want me to speak on. I have that. To me, vibes equate that you're a balance and a good. Your balance is good, and vibes doesn't. Marriage with yours is bad, and vibes. Okay, so vibes that you don't rock with. That's how you determine if a person is good, if a person is a good person or not. I think I kind of do the same thing. I'm like a really like, I feel shit. You know, auras and shit are real with me, and I feel like, hey Vaughn, I feel like if your aura is off, I'm going to feel it. I feel like if your tone is off, I'm going to feel it. Like, even in text messages, like, it's weird because they say that you're not supposed to detect, hey David, they say that you're not supposed to detect tone in text, but you know when somebody is being like short with you, or if somebody is being off, you can feel that shit. I know I can feel it. So I'm like real big on auras and vibes, because that's all I got. And a lot of people call those auras and vibes intuition, or whatever for women, but that's what I use. No, I'm not sick. I'm just cold. Stop trying to put that on me. I'm not sick. It's cold in here. I just got home. I went to Mellow Mushrooms and had a tortilla soup, and it was okay because they forgot my avocado. I know, and I feel like those are frequencies, and I feel like because I'm eating clean and I'm living clean, I'm able to feel those auras a little bit more so than other people. I'm not going to talk about the conscious community because I don't identify with that. I vibe with the unconscious folks because we're out here trying to learn and trying to live, and conscious people already quote unquote know because they're woke. So I'm trying to vibe with the people who more so don't know and are trying to figure it out. So that's why I don't identify with conscious people. But yeah, like I'm very vibey. So I can feel shit when it's going crazy. And I a lot of times if I feel it, I'll say something like, "Hey, you okay? Hey, it's just not a good time for you," or "Hey, you're extra happy today." Like because I can feel it. Bruh, like you, for real? Yes, that's the map. He's the map. But yeah, I'm going to give you guys my email address so you guys can email me if you guys have any questions or you guys want me to speak on a specific topic, because I will. This bug, it's like a gnat or something. It just keeps flying around in a circle. But yeah, so you guys can email me. I have a few shows coming out this week. I have a show with T1, which I'm very excited about. I have a show with Raheem. He is a personal trainer for you guys who are interested here in Jax. But yeah, so if you guys don't have anything else for me, I think I'm gonna biz ounce. So I will wait around for a couple seconds, but I think I'm gonna go because my job here. When am I gonna go to Egypt? Probably if somebody books me and books that flight and pays me to speak. Probably then. But yeah, I don't know when I'm gonna go to Egypt. If y'all pay me though to go, then I'll go. Nobody wants to see me in Egypt, so that's why I probably won't be going. Oh, you're gonna buy me a ticket and you're gonna book me to speak somewhere? Do it, and I'm there. Book me to speak somewhere and I'm there. Does anybody else have any other questions for me? Because this is quote-unquote hashtag Ask Des, but y'all not asking me no questions. Well, one person is. But feel free to ask me anything that you want. I will answer it. Anything. Don't be shy, people. I'm here to answer your questions. Doesn't even necessarily got you. So did you see Get Out? Yes, I saw Get Out. It was very liberating. We don't get very many good movies, so I was excited because that movie was actually good. Does anybody else have any questions? Facebook they be sending me some damn requests. I don't know where the hell they get these people from, because I don't know any of them. I don't know any of these people. See, you tripping. You must really like that movie. I liked it too. I said I was going to go see it a second time, and I haven't gotten around to doing it yet. But I'm going to see it. But anyways, I'm going to go. Nobody has anything else. I'm gonna put my email in the comments so you guys can email me if you guys have any topics or any questions that you want me to address on here. I will be back on here next Wednesday. Okay, thanks guys. Bye.